recycling glass bottles. I want this world to be clean for our children.
Hi, my name is Edward, and this is Screen Legends, the channel where we revisit the greatest shows and movies ever made and find out exactly what happened to the people who brought them to life. Today we are heading back to one of the most beloved television series in American history. Cheers. This is a show that ran for 11 extraordinary seasons, gave us some of the most memorable characters ever written, and left a hole in television that, honestly, 40 plus years later, has never truly been filled. So pull up a bar stool, because we are going back to Boston. Ted Danson, Sam Malone. Ted Danson was born on December the 29th, 1947 in Flagstaff, Arizona. He played the character Sam Malone, the charming, silver-haired, former Red Sox relief pitcher turned bar owner, when he was just 34 years old in 1982. In 2026, Ted Danson is 78 years old, and I have to tell you, the man looks remarkable. Sam Malone was the kind of character that could have been unbearable in the wrong hands. A recovering alcoholic with movie star looks who runs a bar and chases women. That's a difficult needle to thread. But Danson brought such genuine warmth and comedic timing to the role that you rooted for Sam constantly, even when he was being absolutely ridiculous. I personally think Sam Malone is one of the most underrated lead characters in sitcom history. People always talk about the ensemble, and rightfully so, but Danson was the anchor that held the entire ship together for 11 years. After Cheers ended in 1993, Danson did not slow down even slightly. He starred in his own sitcom, Becker, from 1998 to 2004, playing a grumpy but brilliant doctor in the Bronx, a role that showcased a completely different side of his abilities. He made unforgettable appearances in Curb Your Enthusiasm, playing a gloriously fictionalized version of himself. And then, in 2016, he joined the cast of The Good Place as Michael, a supernatural being of questionable morality. That performance earned him yet another Emmy nomination and introduced him to an entirely new generation of fans who had never seen a single episode of Cheers. In his personal life, Danson has been married 3 times. His first marriage to Randy Danson ended in 1975. His second marriage to Cassandra Coates lasted from 1977 to 1993. And then, in 1995, he married actress Mary Steenburgen, and the two of them have been together ever since. 30 plus years in Hollywood. That alone deserves a standing ovation. Ted Danson in 2026 is still acting, still charming, and still the kind of screen presence that makes you stop whatever you're doing and just watch. Shelley Long, Diane Chambers. Shelley Long was born on August 23, 1949, in Fort Wayne, Indiana. She played the character Diane Chambers, the intellectually pretentious, romantically combustible, endlessly entertaining waitress when she was 33 years old in 1982. In 2026, Shelley Long is 76 years old. Now, Diane Chambers is one of the great television characters of all time, and Shelley Long's performance was nothing short of extraordinary. The Sam and Diane dynamic was electric in a way that launched 1,000 imitations. The bickering couple, who clearly belong together but can't get out of their own way. Long won the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series in 1983, and she absolutely deserved every bit of that recognition. But here is where the story takes a turn that I find genuinely fascinating and, truthfully, a little bittersweet. In 1987, after 5 seasons, Shelley Long made the decision to leave Cheers to pursue a film career. At the time, the Hollywood logic seemed sound. She was a critically acclaimed Emmy winner at the height of her powers. But the film roles that followed never quite reached the heights everyone expected. She appeared in Troop Beverly Hills in 1989, which has since become a cult classic, and she had a recurring role on Modern Family decades later as Dee Dee Dunphy, a performance that reminded everyone exactly how funny she could be when given the right material. In her personal life, Long was married to real estate developer Bruce Tyson from 1981 to 2004. She has a daughter, Juliana. She has spoken openly over the years about the challenges that followed her departure from Cheers, and there is something deeply human and relatable about her journey. The courage it takes to walk away from something extraordinary because you believe in what comes next. Currently, Shelley Long is living happily at the age of 76. And every time she pops up in something, fans of a certain generation lose their minds with joy, as they should. Nick Colasanto, Coach Ernie Pantuso, Tribute. This is the part of the script that, every single time I tell this story, I get goosebumps. And I've told it probably 100 times. Nick Colasanto was born on January 19th, 1924, in Providence, Rhode Island. He played the character Coach Ernie Pantuso, the sweet, slow-witted, endlessly lovable former baseball coach turned bartender, when he was 58 years old when the show premiered in 1982. Sadly, on February 18, 1985, Nick Colasanto passed away from heart failure at the age of 61 during the show's third season. Coach was the kind of character whose gentle confusion and pure heart made you smile every single time he appeared on screen. He didn't have the sharpest jokes or the flashiest storylines, but there was a goodness to Coach Pantuso that was impossible to manufacture. And that goodness came directly from Nick Colasanto himself. By every account from his castmates, he was one of the kindest human beings any of them had ever encountered. When Colasanto passed away, the cast and crew of Cheers were devastated. But what the production team did in his memory is one of the most quietly beautiful gestures in television history. In Coach's corner of the bar set, they hung a picture of a young boy that had been found in Colasanto's dressing room after he died. Nobody knew for years who the boy in the picture was. It was eventually revealed to be a photo that Colasanto had simply loved. He found it meaningful, and so it stayed. That picture remained on the wall of the Cheers set for the rest of the show's run. 10 years, long after Coach was gone. I've spent 3 hours researching this particular detail alone, going back through interviews and behind-the-scenes accounts, and what I found only deepened my appreciation for how much Nick Colasanto meant to everyone around him. Rest easy, Coach. Kirstie Alley. Rebecca Howe. Tribute. Kirstie Alley was born on January 12, 1951, in Wichita, Kansas. She joined Cheers in season 6 in 1987, stepping into what most people in Hollywood considered a nearly impossible situation. Shelley Long had just walked away from one of the most beloved roles on television, and someone had to fill that chair. Someone had to walk into that bar and make 11 million weekly viewers care. Kirstie Alley not only did that, she made you forget you were ever worried in the first place. She played Rebecca Howe, the uptight, ambitious, and secretly fragile new bar manager from the age of 36. And she was brilliant. Now, let me be honest with you for a second. When the news broke on December 5th, 2022, that Kirstie Alley had passed away at the age of 71 after a brief and devastating battle with colon cancer, a diagnosis that had only been discovered shortly before her death, I actually called my mom right after I found out. My mom had watched every single episode of Cheers when it originally aired, sitting in our living room every Thursday night like it was a religious obligation, and I knew she would want to hear it from me rather than stumble across it on the news. She didn't say much, she just got quiet, and then she cried. And honestly, so did I, because that is exactly what Kirstie Alley meant to a generation of people who grew up watching her. She wasn't just a television character, she was part of the furniture of your life. What made Alley so special, and I think this is genuinely underappreciated, was the specific kind of funny she was. She was effortlessly funny, naturally funny, the kind of funny that looks like it costs nothing, which is actually the most expensive kind there is. Rebecca Howe could be desperate, delusional, vain, and vulnerable all within the same 2-minute scene, and Alley made every single transition feel completely believable. The Academy agreed. She won the Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series in 1991, and the Golden Globe shortly after. Both were deserved. Both were overdue. After Cheers wrapped in 1993, Alley launched into film with the Look Who's Talking franchise alongside John Travolta, which became a massive commercial success and proved her big screen appeal was entirely real. Her self-titled series Fat Actress in 2005 showcased a performer completely unafraid of turning the camera on her own life with brutal, hilarious honesty. She later appeared on Celebrity Big Brother in the UK, where a whole new audience discovered exactly what American viewers had known for decades. In her personal life, Alley was married twice. first to Bob Alley and later to actor Parker Stevenson from 1983 to 1997. Together, they had 2 children, William and Lily, who she spoke about with unmistakable pride at every opportunity. Kirstie Alley was 71 years old when she left us. The world got a little quieter that day. Rach E.A. Perlman. Carla Tortelli. Rhea Perlman was born on March 31st, 1948, in Brooklyn, New York. She played the character Carla Tortelli, the sharp-tongued, quick-witted, chronically married waitress with more children than anyone could keep track of, when she was 34 years old in 1982. In 2026, Rhea Perlman is 78 years old, and she remains one of the most beloved character actresses of her generation. Carla Tortelli is, in my personal opinion, the secret weapon of Cheers. Every single ensemble scene became funnier the moment Carla opened her mouth and said something devastating to Cliff or Norm or whoever happened to be in her crosshairs that day. Perlman won 4 Emmy Awards for the role. 4, which tells you everything you need to know about the level she was performing at every single week. Off-screen, Perlman's life has been defined largely by her relationship with actor Danny DeVito, whom she married in 1982, the same year Cheers premiered. The two have 3 children together, Lucy, Grace, and Jacob. In 2012, they announced a separation, though they remain deeply intertwined in each other's lives. By 2017, reports confirmed they had officially separated, though both have spoken warmly about the other in interviews since then. In recent years, Perlman has continued to act in film and television, appeared in stage productions, and shown no signs whatsoever of slowing down. She has the kind of screen energy that simply cannot be taught. It is either there or it is not. And with Rhea Perlman, it has always been very, very there. George Wendt, Norm Peterson. George Wendt was born on September the 17th, 1948, in Chicago, Illinois. He played the character Norm Peterson, the eternally unemployed accountant, chronic beer enthusiast, and undisputed king of the barstool when he was 33 years old in 1982. In 2026, George Wendt is 77 years old, and I am delighted to report, still living happily. Okay, I have to say something here, and this is coming from a place of pure affection. The moment when Norm Peterson walked through the door of Cheers and the entire bar shouted, "Norm," is one of the great recurring comedic rituals in television history. Every single episode, and it never got old, not once. That is a writing and performance achievement that I don't think gets discussed enough, and I love it because it's the kind of simple genius that makes you think, why hasn't everyone done this? And the answer is, because when you try to imitate genius, it almost never works. It only works when it's Norm. Wendt was nominated for 6 Emmy Awards for his work on Cheers, which is extraordinary for what is essentially a supporting role. After the show ended, he stayed busy with stage work, television guest appearances, and became a beloved fixture on the convention circuit, where he and John Ratzenberger, his on-screen best friend, have appeared together countless times, clearly enjoying every minute of it. George Wendt brought Norm Peterson to life with such lived-in authenticity that the character never felt like a performance. He felt like someone you actually knew. And if you're lucky enough, maybe someone you drank with. John Ratzenberger. Cliff Clavin. John Ratzenberger was born on April 6, 1947, in Bridgeport, Connecticut. He played the character Cliff Clavin, the pompous, fact-dispensing, mother-obsessed postal worker who always had a questionable piece of trivia ready to share whether you wanted it or not, when he was 35 years old in 1982. In 2026, John Ratzenberger is 79 years old, and he is currently living happily. Now here is a fact about John Ratzenberger that I'll be honest. When I first came across it, I was convinced it couldn't possibly be true, and I had to go verify it myself. Are you ready for this? John Ratzenberger has appeared in every single Pixar film ever made. Every one. Starting with Toy Story in 1995, where he voiced Ham the Piggy Bank through Cars, The Incredibles, Wall-E, Up, Brave, Inside Out, and beyond. Ratzenberger has been a voice in every Pixar production. He is, essentially, Pixar's unofficial good luck charm. The studio has referred to him as their lucky penny. And given Pixar's track record, that is not a title to take lightly. Beyond his Pixar work, Ratzenberger has become a passionate advocate for American manufacturing and skilled trades, hosting the Travel Channel, series made in America, and dedicating significant time and resources to promoting vocational education for young people. It's a cause that clearly comes from genuine conviction, not publicity, and it makes you appreciate the man even more than you already did after 275 episodes of Cliff Clavin's questionable trivia. Woody Harrelson. Woody Boyd. Woody Harrelson was born on July 23, 1961, in Midland, Texas. He joined Cheers in season 4 in 1985, stepping in to fill the enormous emotional gap left by Nick Colasanto's passing, and playing the character Woody Boyd, the innocent, sweet-natured bartender from Hanover, Indiana, when he was just 24 years old. In 2026, Woody Harrelson is 64 years old, and his post-Cheers career is, without question, one of the most remarkable transformations in Hollywood history. I went down such a deep rabbit hole researching Woody Harrelson's career for this script that my wife had to physically take my laptop away from me at midnight. I am not exaggerating, because when you start pulling on that thread, the barefoot, free-spirited farm boy from Cheers, who then became one of the most daring and unpredictable dramatic actors of his generation, you cannot stop. After Cheers, Harrelson launched himself into film with a ferocity that stunned everyone who only knew him as sweet, goofy Woody Boyd. White Men Can't Jump in 1992, Natural Born Killers in 1994, The People vs. Larry Flynt in 1996, which earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, No Country for Old Men in 2007, The Messenger in 2009, which earned him a second Oscar nomination, True Detective Season 1, where his chemistry with Matthew McConaughey produced what many consider the greatest single season of television drama ever made. Woody Harrelson is also famously committed to environmental activism, veganism, and a back-to-nature lifestyle that he has pursued with the same intensity he brings to every role. He has 3 daughters and has been in a long-term relationship with his wife Laura Louie since 2008. He is, by every account, exactly as interesting in real life as the roles he plays on screen. Kelsey Grammer, Dr. Frasier Crane. Kelsey Grammer was born on February 21, 1954, in St. Thomas, in the U.S. Virgin Islands. He joined Cheers in season 3 in 1984, playing the pompous, long-suffering psychiatrist Dr. Frasier Crane, a character who was originally introduced as a temporary love interest for Diane, when he was 30 years old. In 2026, Kelsey Grammer is 72 years old, and his legacy in American television is unlike almost anything that has come before or since. Most people gloss over this part when they discuss Kelsey Grammer, but I think it's secretly the whole point of everything. Grammer played the character of Frasier Crane across 4 separate decades. He first appeared on Cheers in 1984. He starred in the Cheers spin-off Frasier from 1993 to 2004. A show that ran for 11 seasons of its own and won 37 Emmy Awards, making it one of the most decorated programs in television history. And then, in 2023, the Frasier revival premiered, bringing Dr. Crane back for a new generation. That is 40 years of playing the same character. 40 years. I find that almost impossible to wrap my head around, and I love this fact, because it reminds me that true longevity in this industry isn't just about talent. It's about a connection between a performer and a character that transcends time. Grammer's personal life has been marked by extraordinary professional triumph and profound personal tragedy in equal measure. His sister Karen was abducted and murdered in 1975. His half-brothers Ranger and Billy drowned in a diving accident in 1980. He has spoken candidly about the grief and the self-destructive behavior that followed those losses, and the long road back to stability. He has been married 4 times and has 7 children. In recent years, he has spoken about his faith as a source of strength and stability in his life. The Emmy Awards have recognized Kelsey Grammer for playing Frasier Crane more times than any other actor for the same role. He has won the Emmy, the Golden Globe, and the Tony Award, one of the rare performers to achieve all 3. He is, without question, one of the defining comedic talents of his era. Bebe Neuwirth, Dr. Lilith Sternin. Bebe Neuwirth was born on December 31, 1958, in Princeton, New Jersey. She joined Cheers in season 5 in 1986, playing Dr. Lilith Sternin, the glacially composed, razor-sharp psychiatrist who became Frasier Crane's wife and the show's most brilliantly deadpan presence when she was 27 years old. In 2026, Baby Newworth is 67 years old, and she is currently living happily. Lilith Sternin is one of those characters who almost defies description. Every line she delivered felt like it had been sculpted from pure dry ice, and yet there was always something achingly human underneath the composed exterior. Newworth won 2 Emmy Awards for the role, and watching her and Kelsey Grammer play off each other was like watching 2 master chess players who both knew every move the other was going to make, and somehow made it surprising anyway. What many people don't fully appreciate is that Bebe Newworth is also one of the great stage performers of her generation. She won Tony Awards for her work in Sweet Charity and the 1996 revival of Chicago, where her portrayal of Velma Kelly is still spoken about with reverence by anyone who saw it. She has appeared in Madame Secretary and continued working consistently in both theater and television. She is a trained dancer, an instinctive comedian, and a dramatic actress of serious depth, a combination that is rarer than it sounds. And so there you have it, the cast of Cheers, then and now, in 2026. What strikes me most, sitting here having gone through all of these extraordinary lives, is how much this show meant, and still means. Cheers was about a bar, yes, but it was really about belonging, about the people you choose as your family, about showing up day after day, to the same place with the same people, and finding comfort in the fact that they will be there. The theme song told you everything you needed to know in the very first line. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And if you have ever felt alone in this world, and at some point all of us have, those words hit differently than any studio executive could ever have predicted when they greenlit the show in 1982. We lost Nick Colasanto far too soon. We lost Kirstie Alley far too soon. And each loss is a reminder of how extraordinary it was that this particular group of human beings found their way to the same soundstage in Hollywood and created something that will outlast all of them. To Ted Danson, Shelley Long, Rhea Perlman, George Wendt, John Ratzenberger, Woody Harrelson, Kelsey Grammer, and Baby Newworth, still with us, still remarkable, still beloved. Thank you. And to Nick and Kirstie, thank you more than words can say. Now, I want to hear from you. Who is your favorite character from Cheers? Who made you laugh the hardest? Who made you feel the most seen? Was it Norm, sitting at that bar with his beer and his quiet dignity? Was it Carla, sharpening her wit on everyone who walked through the door? Was it Frasier, trying so desperately to be taken seriously and somehow being funnier for it? Tell me in the comments section below. I read every single one, and I mean that. And if this video meant something to you, please hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely makes a difference for this channel. Subscribe to Screen Legends if you haven't already, and make sure you turn on that bell notification so you never miss a new video. Because we have so many more stories to tell, and I promise you, each one is worth your time. This is Edward. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one.